All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. So Colin Kaepernick, last time I did a video about him was openly talking about how he experienced racism from his own parents. He experienced problematic discrimination from his parents in his child upbringing. And he's making his rounds again on Twitter, I guess, talking about his book that is soon to be released. So because he popped back up on everyone's news feed talking about race and discrimination, commentators and celebrities have been giving their opinions on it, and one of those celebrities is Charlamagne the God. And Charlamagne made the exact same point I did in my video when I addressed this, that as a black kid growing up, I got the same criticisms about my hair from my black parents. It's not about racism and being racist just because your white parents were looking out for you, trying to protect their image. But we're about to get into this. First, I'm gonna show you what Colin Kaepernick is talking about, and then we're gonna get into Charlamagne. Now, before I start this video, let's not forget Charlamagne is a little bit woke. You know, he was the person who let Joe Biden go on his show and say, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black, without checking him. So, you know, let's just not forget some of those points. Charlamagne ain't exactly, you know, on my side when it comes to everything, but you know, sometimes he do make sense, and sometimes he do make some points. This one I agree with him on. But we're about to get into this. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe while we're watching. Now let's roll it.
Young people out there now that are transracial adoptees that I know are going to see themselves and see their story in this book, because, you know, it's isolating. And that's, like, I think a key word that for me, a big takeaway from a lot of our conversations is like isolation, you know. So, but I think that there will continue to be surprises, especially as young people themselves pick up the book, and I don't know if that will be their main takeaway, you know. So we'll see how that goes.
I will say I've had a lot of responses from other transracial adoptees on that front, just like having similar experiences and having similar family dynamics that they're trying to navigate.
Right.
And I think it's because it is so unique. It is very difficult for people to have a nuanced conversation around it. Be like, yeah, the people that love you and that you love can also perpetuate very problematic elements.
Right.
And those things can exist at the same time.
Right.
And part of it is like, how do you grapple with that?
Right.
Like, how do you navigate that?
Right.
And especially at a young age, where it's like, are you equipped to navigate that? And are your parents equipped to navigate that?
And also, who do you go to, right? Like, who do you talk to about that if you don't? And, you know, I said this to you last week, but I'll say it again publicly. Like, I think that's a conversation across race. I think that's a conversation for cis parents raising trans kids. I think that's a conversation for hearing parents raising deaf kids, right? I think that's a conversation across gender identity and sexuality and so many other things. And like you said, we have to be able to sit with these things in tension, that you can love somebody and still be capable of hurting them, right? And so what is your responsibility to be thoughtful and to educate yourself and what it means to be a truly caring caretaker for that person? So yeah, I'm glad that we're having a conversation, but it is interesting how people pick it up.
A few things I want to comment on from what they just spoke about. It doesn't matter what race, what color your skin is. Of course, your parents, the people who are supposed to love you the most, can hurt you. There is no love if not through discipline. You have to discipline your kids, and you can't allow them to walk all over you, do whatever you want, have whatever, you know, hairstyle they want. Obviously, it's different methods to parenting. But to say that parents, the people who are supposed to love you the most, can hurt you, what does that have to do with race? Whenever your parents let you down, whenever they don't let you have your way when it comes to something, you're gonna be hurt. That's just the nature of parenting and childing. That's just the nature of a parent and their relationship to their kid. And I would question a parent's love for their kid if they don't discipline them, and if they allow a kid to just walk all over them and do whatever they want, provide them no guidance, you know, don't look out for them at all. Like, then I would actually question if they even love you. And I've also noticed that a big struggle or problem for people who are light-skinned, who have a white parent and a black parent, it seems like the black side is always the side that wins. And these people try the hardest, from what I can see on the outside looking in, to cope and make up for that white side of them, which they feel guilty about. And I could be reaching. Let me know in the comments down below. But I think the mindset behind a lot of these light-skinned activists who are black and white, The reason why they back the black so hard in them and just cast aside the white is because they feel an insecurity within themselves that they're not black enough. So they got to do extra and do the most to support the oppressed side within them. But that's just my hypothesis. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Now on to Charlamagne. He was sitting down with Andrew Schultz, and we're about to take a look at what they both think about all this. Let's roll the clip.
Problematic you believe the NFL is, comparing the NFL to a plantation, and then still wanting to be in the league. I never understood that. I never understood that.
Oh, your hair's not professional. Oh, you look like a little thug.
Your mom said that to you.
Yeah. And those become spaces where it's like, okay, how do I navigate this situation now? But it also is informed why I have my hair long today.
The grown-up version of Eve wanted to go back in time and give young Colin a lot of hugs. And I was really moved and saddened by the level of kind of self-awareness that he had to develop at a very young age.
We can go back in that, though.
Oh my God. A parent didn't like their kid's haircut. Never has happened in history. Welcome to being a child and having parents.
That's what your mom's saying to you right now.
A black man,
Probably.
as a black man who used to be a black boy, black teenager, when I had an afro and I was getting cornrows and stuff, same thing happened to me.
Same thing happened.
And I don't have white parents.
Oh my God.
I have a black mom and a black dad who did not like that, especially when I started wearing Chuck Taylors and Snoop Dogg had that murder case.
Boom.
When Snoop Dogg had that murder case, my dad had a fit. Oh, you think you Snoop Dogg? Oh, you think you Snoop Dogg? Oh, no. He made me, especially when I was getting in trouble in school,
Yes.
he made me cut my hair because for whatever reason, me having a big afro and wanting to get cornrows and wearing Chuck Taylors equated to me wanting to be a thug, or I'll never be able to get a good job or anything else. Like, I don't think that's something that's exclusive to race.
Exactly, not exclusive to race. And the thing that people aren't thinking about here, like Charlamagne said, when his dad found out the Snoop Dogg caught the murder case and that Charlamagne wanted to, have braids and wear Chuck Taylors and look like a gangster from LA. Those are some of the main pop culture icons who were promoting a lifestyle of being a gangster and being a thug and rapping about it. So it's not like people come to this conclusion of people with braids being thugs out of nowhere and for no reason. But when you look at some of the most highlighted and most iconic people within black culture, they promoted being a gangster, they promoted being a thug, and they actually did have these braids. Charlemagne's 44 and Colin Kaepernick is, I think, 35. But they both come from an era where, the professional world did not, it just didn't allow these type of things. So it's two elements and two ways of looking at this. From a professional aspect, things have changed a lot. Now you can work in corporate and have tattoos and big hair and a ponytail, but it didn't used to be that way. You can have cornrows, you can have whatever you want and work almost anywhere you want nowadays. There's not as much hairstyle and tattoo discrimination as it used to be. And it's also the perspective of noticing and looking at who are some of the biggest icons within rap, within the black community. What were they doing and what were they talking about? They were talking about gangster stuff. They had braids. They had on the Chuck Taylors. You know what I'm saying? Like Bone Thugs, Snoop Dogg, Eazy-E, Ice Cube, all of these people. This was the popular image within the black community. And it was the image of a thuggish, ruggish lifestyle. So when that's what's popular within a community, as a parent who wants something different, who wants something better for their kid, you aren't wrong for saying, get rid of those braids. I don't want you to have those braids because you look like a thug. Again, that's not something that only white kids said to their adopted black parents. That's something that black parents said to their black kids as well. My parents told me the same thing. I had to have a fade all the way up until sophomore year. I was finally able to do something different with my hair because they were just looking out for me in that aspect. It just so happens, and especially back in the day, that gangsters, gangbangers did have a little bit of a dress code, and it was certain things that they did with their hair and the way they styled their clothes that signaled that they were gangsters or gangbanging. That's just the way culture has evolved. But to dismiss all of that information and just say that it's all about race and racism is crazy, because you have parents from white backgrounds and black backgrounds both telling their kids the same things, both giving their kids the exact same advice. And I'm pretty sure back in the day it was white parents telling their white kids to not have their hair long, trying to look like Metallica and Megadeth and all these rockers looking like Kiss, you know what I'm saying? And not to dress like that because the professional world won't take them serious as well. So is it about racism or is it about professionalism and looking the part to get the part? But that's all I got for this video. Let me know what you thought about this in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe when you're at the door. And until next time, you guys, I'm out of here. Peace.